to the microphone than you think necessary. Okay?
Cool.
And then you're good. And don't take it out of the stand. And you're good to go.
Cool. Hi, people. So one of the biggest, or one of the most important lessons that I've learned in my life came from a decision that made absolutely no sense at the time. I was a sophomore in university, and I was on academic probation. I had just come off of failing a semester where I tried the hardest that I possibly could have, and I still failed. And so when you get to a point like that, part of you starts to wonder if maybe you're the problem. At this point, I wanted to become someone very different than who I was then. So the semester that came after that, when I was walking to my dorm, I saw a flyer that said, University Salsa Club auditions. Now, normally, I would have ignored it, but this time around, I think I was fed up with the fact that I was facing so much rejection that at this point I was just like, you know what, what's one more, right? So I did what any reasonable failing computer science student does at this point in their lives, and I auditioned for the University Salsa Club. But there's just one problem. I have what medical professionals usually refer to as having two left feet. I was a terrible dancer. And by the time I walked into that audition room, I knew I probably bit off a bit more than I could chew. I mean, these people were warming up. They had their fancy dance shoes. They had rhythm. And they had that thing where, where your hips, the kind of sensual, whatever you're imagining is exactly what I did not have at that point. And so I went back to my dorm room and I was defeated. I thought I blew it. So I threw myself on my bed and I started doom scrolling like we all do, right? And then I get this email from the Salsa Club. It says, Michael, we really liked your audition. And for a second, I sat there and I was just like, did we see the same? We both know what I was working with, but they apparently saw me and said, yeah, we want you. And so that's how I joined the Bachata Bebes Showcase Dance Group. Baby Bachata Dance Group, beginner showcase dance group. And so what's funny about the Bachata Bebes dance group is that everyone sucked. But that was the best part because I could step on someone's toes and I wouldn't get judged for it. In fact, that's actually the price of admission, right? This is something we all understand. And so from then on, we started going to these social dances all around town with my group. People would ask me to dance, not because I was good, we all know at this point I wasn't, but they asked me just because they knew who I was and I knew who they were, right? And at this point, I started to realize something. At this point, I felt kind of like a ghost, right? Where while I wasn't alone at university, I didn't really have a place where my presence would really be noticed in that way. And somehow, this random salsa club that I joined gave me that feeling that I never had. So showcase day comes around, and I'm nervous. I'm so nervous. I actually consider faking a stomach ache just so that I could bail. But just before I could, Kat, our choreographer, walks on stage, and she introduces us. She goes, hello, everyone. This group here are complete beginners at the start of the semester, and I had the privilege of being able to teach them and see them grow as dancers. Guys, without further ado, welcome in the Bachata Bebes. And so my group and I, we walk on stage, we get in position, and the lights dim, right? And then the music starts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, boom, just like that, my body starts to move. I'm not even thinking, I'm just, whoa, okay, this is, all right. But, as soon as the music starts to really, I start to feel the beat, I start and guys, I'm not lying, my hips, the thing that I didn't have, they started Latining, my hips started Latining. It was a Christmas miracle in November. And I was on cloud 9. I was so excited. But underneath all of that, I think more than anything, what I was really happy about was that I finally had a place where I belonged. So I didn't join the salsa club because I wanted friends or because I wanted confidence or because I wanted community. More than anything, I just wanted to stop feeling miserable and stop beating myself up. But it turns out, the lesson that schooled me, wink, is that sometimes you don't find yourself by trying to become someone else. Sometimes you find yourself by accidentally stumbling into places where you're fully allowed to be who you really are. Flaws and all, Latin hips and all. Thank you, guys.